We are here to talk about Cyberpunk. And whoops, did not mean to change the camera. Making sure that live chat, all messages are visible. There we go. Before we get deep into it, make sure you guys join that Discord community. The link will be in the description below. It's a community of like-minded people that love Discord, that love Cyberpunk and Discord, I guess. Make sure you follow me on social media at JonJonTheWise. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the podcast Tabletop Cyberpunk, where I will be having a guest on pretty soon for talking about Combat Zone Red, and I'm sure we'll talk about it here. And what else? I did that. Yeah. Anything else? Follow me on social media. I said patreon.com/JonJonTheWise. Make sure you guys join that. I'm going to be starting a new series on virtual tabletops, and it is going to be exclusive to patrons only. So if you want to get in on that action, make sure you're there. Also, we got the Patreon games and all of that. All right. Welcome, everybody. What's up, JD? How you doing? Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us again. It's an exciting time for Cyberpunk Red as Combat Zone Red was announced by Monster Fight Club. I haven't checked the Kickstarter in since yesterday, but I think they've reached over 130,000 dollars in sales, which is amazing. I'm super hyped for it too, JD. I'm hyped to paint. I'm hyped to play and everything. We're gonna get a tabletop simulator version of it too, so that's gonna be awesome. Other than that, Cyberpunk Red is chugging along. I've been working on my campaign, working on videos, having fun. I just got Bellicor, the Demon Prince, the Dark Master for Warhammer 40K, so I'm going to be painting that too. So yeah, it's a fun time, exciting time. I hope you guys are enjoying that new series that I just finished, the Patreon exclusive series of how to build an epic campaign. That is going to be releasing. The next episode will be releasing next week. So there's all that. All right. Combat Zone is almost at the the additional gang minis. Oh yeah, yeah, nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I got the $200 tier, which is gonna be 4 gangs. It's the two that come with the box, two extra, plus 21 minis, and then if we hit that stretch goal, then that means we'll get additional minis too. So that's, I mean, that's pretty nuts for the amount that you're gonna get. That's what I'm saving up for. That's a good idea, dude. I like it. I like it a lot. I can't wait to play and all that. It looks like it's gonna be a fun game. It looks like very interesting. It looks like they're doing things a little bit differently with their limiter system and reaction system, where you just do actions and then you react to the actions and stuff like that. So that's a lot of fun. Should be cool. And yeah, I hope you guys have been having fun. Cyberpunk Red games. Let me know how it goes. Connect with me. Talk to me. I love hearing about your games and what's going on. It's getting a little bit harder for me to keep track of everything because there's so many things that I want to do for the channel. But it's coming along, it's chugging along, and it's gonna be all good. Also, shout out to DG Rage Riot that runs our Starfinder game. If you guys are into Starfinder, make sure you guys go check out his YouTube channel. And yeah, that's it. If you guys haven't already, there's a bunch of make sure you guys check out the questions in or you ask questions about Combat Zone. It's in the community tab of the channel. I've also asked it on Reddit and on Discord. But either way, if you have questions about Combat Zone Red, make sure you get it to me. You can also email it to me at JonJonTheWise, JonJonTheWise at gmail.com. All right. Cleston Moore asked me, do you use the beat chart for your games? I very rarely use the beat chart for my games because I usually have things planned out. And if I'm going to have a random encounter, I want it to be a little bit more meaningful than just rolling on the a chart on the book. And sometimes you roll on the chart, those charts, and the result you get doesn't really make sense in the scenario that you're in. So you're like, oh, never mind, let me roll again. And then the players are just sitting there waiting for you to decide what you're going to do. Instead, I'll make sure that the random encounters are not actually so random and they are a little bit planned out. And Yeah, it adds a little bit more meaning, especially if it's somebody that is within their life path. There's a bunch of enemies that the players can make. You should definitely keep a tally in your head of enemies that your players have made throughout the campaign and through their life path. And those are perfect people to come up on them in random encounters, right? What paint scheme will Bellicor have? I'm going to be going for a dark blue, black, and gold chains kind of look. I don't know exactly how I'm gonna get it done. The box art has like 7 different grays that you add, and that's its original thing. But I want to go for a kind of like darkish blue, a little bit of gray, black, gold chains kind of thing. I love the black and gold, so I definitely want to do that. I'm really not sure what I'm gonna paint the Space Marine that he's standing on. I don't know if I'm gonna do Ultramarines, Blood Angels, Imperial Fist. I don't know exactly yet, so I'll figure it out. We burn out. Jesus Christ, we burn out bright. Hey, I made it. The one made it to one. Hey, John, hope you're doing good. I'm doing great, man. Thank you so much. It's great to have you here. Make it a Space Wolf. See, I wanted to make it a Space Wolf because I played Thousand Suns, but I don't like Space Wolves with the standard Space Marine helmet on. I like it when their helmets are off and they have beards out and they look like Space Wolves. So I didn't want to do it because of that. If I could get some kind of conversion, that would be cool. You know what? Now that I think about it, I might be able to, but who knows? I haven't really opened it up yet to see what it's like. Hold on. All right, guys. Sorry about that. That was an involuntary member of the live chat, so no need to have them on. Which will be next book, Chromebook or a source book? What's up, Jimmy? Good to see you, buddy. The next book will be Black Chrome, which is a source book and a Chromebook. Chromebooks are source books, so that's what's going to be next. It's going to be a book about stuff and how to get it, according to what our Telsorian said. So that's next. I'm glad that Combat Zone Red is coming out, so we can focus on that until the next source book comes out. And I'm sure that Telsorian is excited to try that shit out too. But it's good because we're all expecting something already so soon. We just want the next best thing. Any ETA on Black Chrome? No, not yet. I've asked them a million times. I've asked them if there's anything coming up. If there's anything they can tell us, then they'll let me know, and we'll have them on the podcast or the channel, and we'll take care of that. But for now, there's nothing new. So if you guys are not into Combat Zone, then I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to wait a little longer for any kind of news. There is that Elflines MMO thing that you guys can try out, but I haven't actually tried it out. If anybody's tried that out, let me know. What's up, Nihilus? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Good morning to you too. Thank you so much. Hope you guys have a wonderful morning so far. Do you see any major problems with running a game set in 2020 using the red rule set? No, no, there's no problems at all. You can easily use the mechanics of red and have it take place in 2020 without any trouble at all, in my opinion. The only thing you'll have to change is the lore a little bit because in 2020 the corporations are all like still there. In red, most of the corporations are gone, so that's the only thing you'd have to change. You've tried out Elfline's Web We Burn Out. I keep trying to say web. We Burn. But yeah, awesome. Looks like a fun side activity. I'll use it in my game. Yeah, it could be a cool storyline and plot thread where you have to look for a net runner. I think I had, yeah, in one of the Wise Guys campaigns, I had them go into a VR environment. So in my story, I had it where there's this type of game that is an augmented reality VR game, and if you die in the game, you die in real life. And the government and people decided, like, you know what, we can't have this, we got to outlaw it. So it became outlawed, and now the only way you can play those games is in underground. In it, yeah, Jimmy, you remember that? uh the You can only play it in an underground like net cafe. They have it in the back room or something like that. So Jimmy and Brian, the my two players at the time, they were tasked with going to this like underground, this net cafe, going to the back room, logging into this thing, and basically they were transported to World War II era. I think it was called Call of Duty augment real VR or something like that. But basically, they went to like a World War II era time, and they were like Allied soldiers, and the enemies were the Axis, and they went and they had to rescue a net runner that had been captured there. So the net runner, they had to be fast and get over there because the net runner could die, and they needed the net runner to help them. No, that was your group, Jimmy. What are you talking about? I have it in my in my YouTube channel. You don't remember this. You were crying about not being able to use. You're like, I don't know how to use a tank, and I'm like, dude, it's a game. You don't need to know how to use a tank. It's just a video game. That's what happened. But anyway, they rescued this netrunner, got him out, and the netrunner deleted their name from an Arasaka hit list. So that was the whole idea. But it would be fun to do the same thing with elf lines. It went very well. Lots of predatory gaming mechanics from MMOs. I used it as a plot thread for my netrunner and techie to get to know a client. That's cool. I like that. That's fun. What's up, DM Chuggy? How you doing? Good to see you. Welcome to the live chat. Yeah, Jimmy, you don't remember. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the part of the thing was that they were outnumbered in the video game. And I said, okay, you retain all the same stats that you have in real life in the video game. All right. So just to make things easier. And that's why Jimmy was like, I don't know how to use a tank, dude. And I'm like, dude, it's a video game. You don't have to worry about knowing it. Just play the video game. So he hopped into a tank, and then the outnumbered people became less of a threat because he's in a tank and they're not. And it was fun. It was cool. They rescued the netrunner and everything and rescued his buddies. But that was fun. It was also fun to role play the guy at the front desk saying like, I don't know what you're talking about. We don't have that game. And then the players going like, listen, man, we know you have this fucking illegal game. Let us in there. Let us do our business, and no one will ever know. Yeah, Patrick was fun, man. Those 2020 days. I got to bring him back somehow. It's not DCS. DCS. I don't know what DCS is. But of course you can drive a tank. So, I don't know about you guys, but I'm super hyped about Combat Zone. Um, I'm going to be. So it comes with Maelstrom and Tiger Claws, which is interesting because in Cyberpunk 2077, those are two prominent gangs. In the red lore, I never saw anything about the Tiger Claws, and I figured that it was just a 2077 kind of thing. DCS is an ultra realistic military flight sim. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. But yeah, basically, I was kind of surprised to see the Tiger Claws in there, but it is cool. So we're gonna get the Maelstrom and the Tiger Claws, and then I'll get my choice of two different gangs for the tier that I picked up. I'm definitely gonna pick up the Lawmen and the Combat Zoners because I like the Combat Zoners models. I think they're perfect, and I think it's good to have a third gang that is kind of not affiliated with any of the other gangs. And I'm hoping to save up for the highest tier I can get. Yeah, I mean, you get a lot of good stuff. And then I want the Lawman because I can also use the Lawman in my games, and it's awesome to get the Lawman. And then the 21 minis are going to be great too. So I have a lot of painting to do. Hey John, one of my players in my new campaign wants to use bow and arrow. Any suggestions for arrow tech and special ammo and how they could acquire and roll them in combat? Yeah, I mean, the book gives you great suggestions for arrow tips and stuff like that. But if you want to make like custom ones, you can find a techie that can do a weapons tech roll to make custom special ammunition. You can also, if you want to homebrew some ideas, you can make some arrows that do funny things, like EMP arrows, or like an arrow with a rope attached to it, so it's kind of like a harpoon gun, and all kinds of stuff. I mean, the sky's the limit with that. So it's up to you. The book lets you know what kind of special ammunition could be made into special arrows, and I would definitely take a look at that. The explosive tipped ammunition, the arrows are insane. I mean, that's crazy. You do, what is it, 4d6 damage or 3d6 with the arrow plus 66 damage with the explosion? That's insane, unless I'm reading that wrong. But as far as arrow tech and special ammo, that's all weapons tech roll. Making an arrow out of mundane tools in the wilderness, I'd call that a survival check. Some kind of so it could still be weapons tech, but maybe survival check to assist as a complementary skill, and then you can make some arrows in the wild. But as far as modern arrows and stuff like that, I would definitely Google, take a look, see what kind of cool stuff is out there, and maybe watch a Rambo movie. Rambo has some cool arrows. I have another games to pick. Yeah. So there's that. Um, the arrows are really fun. I like the idea that you can literally have four other gangs. I have four other gangs to pick. Oh, okay. Maybe survival to find resources and weapons tech to assemble. Yep, that's great. That's actually a very good suggestion. Thank you, AW. That's perfect. If you want to make it out of less conventional materials, that's cool too. Yeah, I mean, it's really up to you. Gas powered arrows on a. You can make some kind of arrow that fires like rocket launching arrows. You know what I mean? Like gas powered arrows. But then that's just a gun, isn't it? Twiggy is using bow and arrows. Yeah, he is. The cool thing about bow and arrows is you don't have to reload. Each arrow can be a special arrow. So like in a handgun, if I want to use armor piercing rounds and then incendiary rounds, I got to do, all right, it has armor piercing. Now on my next turn, I'm reloading a different special ammunition, and then I can fire. But with the bow, you don't have to take an extra turn to do that. You just, whenever it's your turn, you just toss that arrow in. I'm thinking bozos, lawmen, militech if they have them, and combat zoners. Yeah, I'm not interested in the bozos. I don't know. What's up, Steven? We're 18 minutes in, so you're not late at all. Now I'm thinking of a gang that are basically Robin Hood and his merry men. Yeah, that would be a cool poser gang, violent poser gang that goes around killing corporates or whatever corporates are left. A bunch of corporate hunters. That's fun. Killing them, stealing their stuff, giving it to nomads. Ooh, you can make them a nomad family that is also kind of like a poser gang. They go around, they kill corporates and the upper crust of society, especially when they're transitioning from one city to another and they're like going on an escort mission. You know, the open roads, if you play in my games, the open roads are treacherous, they're dangerous, and they're vast. So if a corporate is leaving from one city to another city, you can have this Robin Hood and his merry men of corporate killers hunting that corporate. And it would be cool if you have a corporate in your party as well, or just the fact that the players. That's another way to mitigate when your players have a lot of money too. If you notice that their bank account is really high, they have a lot of eddies. You also got to determine if it's cash or what it is, and definitely be able to hit them because there's rumor that they got money. And yeah, as Nyla says, the open roads can be rewarding as well. That's right. They on our last session they found a semi truck that had careened off the road, and they found some cool homebrew items in there and some food and supplies that they can use for trading with a nearby town. So that was good. it's good to do that kind of stuff too. There's a lot of things in Cyberpunk that kind of it eludes me as far as what the importance is. Like for example, there's loot, right? Like you can give them weapons and you can give them ammo and stuff like that. But beyond weapons and gear, there's also stuff like information and things that you can give your players that they can sell to other people or trade for favors. And those are things that I think are more important. Strength DF. I hope Artel adds this in Black Chrome, but currently, how would you make a full Borg in red? My current idea would be to have cyber arms, legs, and eyes, audio suite, and linear frame. Yeah, that's coming soon. I don't know if it's coming in Black Chrome, but James Hutt told me, of course, it's coming. So they're going to be doing it. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it, though. Hey, John, how would you do a corporate campaign? Would it be sneaking into other corporations, stealing, blackmail? Yes. Any ideas if you did a corporate campaign? Yeah, corporate espionage, um, currying favor with other gangs, spreading their influence, lear- finding information for manufacturing, reverse engineering old tech, working deals with people that have a warehouse that has old tech. I mean, there's the sky's the limit. There's so many things you can do. Watching your back because other corporations want to curry favor, battling like in a Game of Thrones style where like there are these influencing factions in an area and you want them to be on your side, but then there's another corporation that wants the same thing. So you guys kind of have to undercut each other and work together and work against each other and stuff like that. So that's kind of fun. Eric R. Morning John, those campaign and player ready plot charts were really helpful. I'm glad they were helpful, Eric. That's awesome to hear. Hold on one second, guys. I got a phone call. I'll be right back. Yo, sorry about that, guys. I'm back. I just had to take care of a phone call. I am on the job, as they say. I'm here. I'm not late. What you mean? What's up, Twiggy? Yeah, Eric, if the campaign has been the campaign videos and stuff have been helpful, that's great. It's to hear. And I have more stuff coming down the pipeline. There's two more episodes to come out. Those plot charts are really oh Jesus Christ. Hold on, I'll be right back. Sorry about that, guys. I'm back. Yeah, so those plot charts are really helpful just to put your ideas on paper. I always say like put your ideas down and if it works out, then it works out. If you add more to it, if you have to add more to it, then add more to it. But the idea is the writing exercise of you writing down exactly what's going to happen at each session throughout your entire campaign gives you a direction and a path where you can take the campaign and not have to worry about whether it's a good idea or whether it's going to work out, and you can adjust things later on down the pipeline. So that's the best thing about those plot charts. I wouldn't worry about filling it out completely, just enough with like a little bit of bullet points here and there, just to give you an idea of where to go. Because I guarantee you, by the time you get to the end of your campaign arc, that your players will have changed a lot of your ideas, and you shouldn't worry too much about it. So we have a list of the gangs available in Combat Zone. Yeah, we got Maelstrom, Tiger Claws, Bozos, Lawmen, Combat Zoners. I saw Trauma Team, but I don't know if Trauma Team is going to be another one. And Generation Red, which is like the kids, the Cyber Generation kids. And I think that, oh, then the Edge Runners, Team Monster, and the other Edge Runner kit as well. So there's a lot. There's like, I think around 10 gangs, something like that. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Congratulations on 3K subscribers. How are you liking the Combat Zone ad on Monster Fight Club? Thank you so much. And I couldn't have done it without you guys. Thank you so much for getting me to 3,000. I really appreciate it. As far as the Combat Zone, I love it. I can't wait. Hold on. I'll be right back. All right. There we go. Just getting phone call after phone call today. I'm assuming full Borg would be hard to play as due to the extreme amounts of humanity loss. There's the one singer in 2077 who went full Borg and she fell into cyberpsychosis. Same with Adam Smasher. Well, this is the thing about full Borg conversion according to the Cyberpunk 2020 lore. is the reason they don't go into cyberpsychosis is because they have accepted the fact that they are more machine than human. So cyberpsychosis is the personal struggle of the mind where you're not sure if you're more human or more machine, and if you've now evolved to a different type of being, and that whole struggle causes people to lose their mind, become unhinged, and become a danger to themselves and the people around them. But if you go full Borg, then you're kind of telling yourself that I've accepted that I'm no longer human and I'm now a new type of creature, or the next step in evolution. So that's why they don't go cyber psycho. But, again, that's kind of interpretation that is changed every now and then. I guess you could still go cyber psycho if you regret going full Borg and regret leaving your human life behind, because it's like one day you don't have cyberware, the next day you are cyberware. Your complete being is cyberware. So it's hard to tell why someone would go cyber psycho. And there's also the idea that that cyberpsychosis is a myth and it's just all in your head. And that's a fun thing to try to figure out as well. AW, the fixer of my group, wants to become a nightclub owner, so we will have side quests to secure a source of booze, take care of drugs, lazy employees, etc. I love it already. I like that too, but it's gonna be tough to always role play that. I think the best thing to do is have your fixer have managers and employees and people that he trusts or they trust taking care of the nightclub, and they only call the your player when there's like big major decisions that need to be made, or something, an emergency happens. And it's also just a place where you guys can go and hang out and be safe and have it as like your stronghold or your Alamo or whatever you need it to be. But it could be fun to do those types of missions as well. But it'll be a lot of busy work. I mean, being an owner of a business is not all that it's cracked up to be. It's a lot of late hours. It's a lot of answering phone calls, like I was doing, and I'm not even the owner, and stuff like that. So that kind of stuff, it can be boring to role play. That's why I would delegate that to NPCs that are trusted, and then you guys go do the fun stuff. You know. Grimes character. Hey, what's up, Brutalk? How you doing, buddy? If you guys haven't seen Brutalk's video on Cyberpunk, you need to absolutely check it out. I shouted it out on my YouTube, my social media, and stuff like that. But make sure you guys go follow Brutalk and subscribe to his channel as well. Maxfield Calloway says, "How would you do the mafia in Cyberpunk? Most of the time, when talking about crime organizations, it's the Yakuza and the Slaughterhouse Gang. What about the mafia? Is the spaghetti cyber enhanced?" Spaghetti cyber enhanced. So the mafia typically is a large organization of multiple factions that answer to one boss or one organization above everybody, like a council or something. And they specialize in specific parts of industry, and they control that industry. That's through illegal means, through extortion, through whatever they can. They own that industry. For example, the famous one in New York, they own the labor union, they own the trash union. So you couldn't get any construction done, and you couldn't get your trash picked up without the mafia being heavily involved with it. And they did it through all kinds of means. So the corruption ran deep. So that's how you should definitely try to do the mafia in Cyberpunk. And that's why corporations and them clash really, really hard, because corporations are trying to do it in their own way with their own influence and trying to do it legally. You know what I mean? And the mafia is more willing to take illegal maneuvers and fraudulent maneuvers. I mean, they basically both do the same thing. Jesus. Sorry, guys. I'm just like all over the place right now. Yeah, so basically, back on the mafia idea, the mafia and the corporations basically try to do the same thing. And what the best way to do it is make sure that they own parts of an industry, that they work in parts of an industry, they have influence in that industry, and that's how they run things. So if you want your players to be involved with that, they have to kind of pick a side and just know that the mafia and corporations are mortal enemies with each other. 3K subs. Wow, look at our little man growing up so fast. I know, man. 30K is next. Oh, we'll see, Brutal. If I get 30K subs, that means Cyberpunk is blowing up, which is great. His beard grows in power with subscribers. Smasher is effectively psychotic, even if he's lucid. I don't think Smasher is cyber psycho. I think he's just a cold-hearted killer, and his goal is to be a cold-hearted killer that has no equal, and that's why he did all the converting that he did to the monster that he became, because he wanted to make sure that that was his purpose in life, you know, and he figured that out. So I think that he is definitely a psycho, but I don't think he's cyber psycho. You know what I mean? He's psycho in the normal sense of like a human being, but that's my interpretation. Also, it was really underwhelming when I actually fought him in Cyberpunk 2077 and just murdered him. Like, I mean, it was so easy to kill him. The game is just too easy, in my opinion, but it was still fun. Change them with grenades mostly. Yeah, I would say he was psycho. Yeah, Smasher is totally psychotic. He literally sees people as just meat. Yeah, he was always crazy. Cyber psychosis made it worse. Also, I don't think Lizzie Wizzy was full Borg. She wasn't full Borg. She was just chromed out. Um, there's a there's a procedure in Cyberpunk where you can just get completely chromed out, head to toe. You cover your whole body in chrome, and it like attaches to you. It's an entire process. Makes your whole body that way, and that has no detriment to your humanity loss actually. Strength DF. I want to play someone who's like Adam Smasher, a huge full Borg, definitely not as insane and sadistic, but a huge scary Borg. Yeah, you could definitely do that. The only problem is that you do that, but then I mean, okay, think about it this way. I, as a game master, would want you to play whatever you want to play and have fun whatever way you want. But if you're walking around as a full Borg murdering everybody, you can't just have those people walking around. The government doesn't like it. C SWAT doesn't like it. Max Tech doesn't like it. Trauma Team doesn't like it. Anybody that's worth a damn doesn't like seeing those guys walking around. So if you're going around being this big scary Borg causing all kinds of destruction, then you're gonna be put down like a rabid dog. That's just the fact. So as a player, if you want to be a full Borg, fine, but you better hide it. You better watch out and not just go around firing your autocannon at everything, because as soon as people get wind that there's a full Borg around murdering half the population in the area, then they're or whatever, just being there, they're just gonna come, and Max Stack's gonna come, C SWAT's gonna come, Trauma Team will be there to make sure that they protect their assets. So you got to watch out for always being a target. That's what I would say. It's just like anybody walking around with an assault rifle or the light armor jack. You know, why are you dressed like that? Why are you fully equipped with weapons and stuff? Should I be nervous? If you're walking around with an assault rifle and I'm sitting here with my pistol, you already have something, the upper hand on me. So I need to make sure that I strike first before you strike. So those are the kind of consequences I would think of before doing stuff like that. Have your player agonizingly roleplay ordering napkins. Have them awkwardly talk to a dildo store owner about a Target who shopped there. Where's your cave? Hi, John. John, I picked up Augmented Reality by Geist Hack Games. Awesome. Tell me, GM, any other third parties products you might suggest? Actually, his are the only ones that I really suggest. I haven't seen any other good third party ones. I mean, there's some from a site that I will not mention, from people that are being taken advantage of by the creator, but they're out there. I would check our Discord. We have some cool resources as well. But other than that, the augmented reality series from Geist is really really good, really good. That's old school Cyberpunk 2020 guys. I mean, they still do work today. The mafia is just like a corp. Real life mafia is the biggest employer of Italy with their legal fronts alone. Yeah. Make your players order food from a very unenthusiastic waitress in full awkwardness. Embrace the awkward. All right, love you, Jimmy. I think you're probably already gone. How do you handle weapon upgrades? I think raw is you can only upgrade once, and if something breaks during the upgrade, you can repair it, or is it permanently broken? No, I don't like that. I like to be able to upgrade the weapon as much as you want, mix and match, change things, take things off, put other things. If something breaks during the upgrade, can you repair it? If something breaks during the upgrade, I would only break the material that you use to upgrade. So, like, let's say you have a gun and you wanted to add something to it. Well, if you failed the weapons tech roll, then I would say the thing that you tried to add on is not functioning or it broke during the process. And now you need to either repair that thing or get a new one. And how Cyberpunk Red is, I don't think any tech gets thrown away. I think tech just gets repurposed. So you would repair it in some kind of fashion with human ingenuity and stuff like that. I believe that Arasaka converted Adam Smasher to full Borg because he was going to die. He was blown to bits on a job because he was blown to bits on a job for them. Yeah, I got to continue serving the corporation, man. Even only in death does duty end. Smasher might even be a product of his environment and upbringing, but he has a plan and an end game, so it's hard to say. Maybe a sociopath, but not a psychopath. I don't really know too much about Adam Smasher. I just know what kind of archetype he's trying to be. He's the big, bad, scary nemesis guy that goes around screaming stars and murders everybody. Did you see the Forbes wrote an article? Yeah, I haven't read the article, but I saw that they did. The one upgrade limit is odd since the invention mechanic has no limits whatsoever. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the idea of it. Maybe it's there for balancing issues, but I don't like that idea at all. It doesn't seem realistic. Maybe there's a reason behind it that I don't know. But in my game, if my players want to upgrade a weapon, they can upgrade as much as they want. And if they want to sell an item, there are no fixed values. They can sell an item at anything. So, it's all good. It's my game. I can do it my way. I appreciate that they have their own rules. I'm sure that there's a reason why they have their own rules the way they are, but I don't care. You know what I mean? I'm going to do it my own way. I was surprised that they did use a slot system for weapons and armor like they do with cyberware. Different guns have slots with upgrades costing slots. Yeah, I'm actually right there with you. I don't understand why they didn't do that either. It would have been consistent with the game and the mechanics to do like some kind of slot system. But in my games, I mean, if it exists and as a modification, then I'll try to work out a way to put it on there. You want to put a laser sight on your shotgun? Fine. You want to put a sniper scope on your pistol? Fine. I don't care. Do whatever you want. We'll make it work. This is the time of the red, all right? If in the time of the red, the story is that tech, there's new tech or very little new tech, people are scavenging, people are trying to human ingenuity and stuff like that. Everybody's going around looking for solutions to problems, right? Because no one is there to save them. No, there are no new products or anything. So people are literally scavenging to survive. It's like post-apocalyptic kind of, you know what I mean? So if that's the case, that means people are finding whatever way they can to create transportation, whatever way they can. If it's got an engine and wheels on it, it's a car. And if it's going to be powered by choo-choo or gas or steam or electricity or horses, they don't care. They're going to find a way to make some kind of transportation. They're going to find a way to make that weapon modification fit their weapon. They're going to find a way to upgrade their weapons and make them more better. They're going to find a way to find broken items, fix them, refurbish them, and human ingenuity will come in and come through, and they'll be able to change things according to their lifestyle, their new lifestyle of trying to scavenge and survive. Survival is the most important part of cyberpunk, and nothing is going to stop someone from surviving because they're not a fixer or a tech or a med tech or whatever you want to call it in game terms, or if it breaks a game or whatever you want to call it. Human ingenuity will always prevail. in my opinion, and that's one of the core principles of cyberpunk is humanity is the core principles and being a human being and the not just being a human being. What I mean is like being naturally a human being, have a human experience, which is not giving up, surviving at all costs, and doing what you can to move on with your life. What was the worst betrayal you had in Cyberpunk, and how do you do them? The worst betrayal I had in Cyberpunk was one of the players that I was playing with. Uh, I was a player, he was a player. The guy's like an asshole in real life. I talked about it on my podcast. But basically, he almost got my character killed many times. He wanted to be the guy that's talking shit to everybody. So we would go to like a gang hideout and we would have to be like, all right, everybody chill. We're in their territory. Be respectful. And this guy's like, fuck you, fuck you. I'm the big man. I got a gun. I don't care about you. You can blah, blah, blah. And then it's like he's putting all of us in danger because we're associated with him. So that was like kind of the worst betrayal. I did kill his character indirectly, which was also a mistake on my part. I shouldn't have done that, but that's how it goes. One thing about unlimited upgrades could be you can attach a ton of weapon attachments to weapons since you can keep adding slots as well as making an excellent weapon. Yeah, it's just got to be within reason. If you got a scope on top, you can't, or a sight, then you can't put anything else on there. If you have an underbarrel, you can't put anything else under there. If you have an extended magazine, if you have a stock, like it's just all within reason. Like the video gaming aspect would be like just add things onto it and you get a plus one plus one plus one, or we could think of it more realistically like, hey, this thing could help you with this, that thing could help you with that. So it's up to you what you want to add, but it's all within reason. You know what I mean? Operation Pimp My Rifle is a go. Yeah, for sure. More noticeable on exotic weapons since normally they can only be modded to have one mod slot. Yeah, and so exotic weapons are already inherently modified from regular weapons. They're already a cooler version of regular weapons. So I understand if in video game terms you can't modify them past that. And honestly, I would say you can't modify any exotic weapons because they are already at a point where they are a modified weapon and they're a special weapon. It's like having a legendary item in a video game or whatever. And if you want to modify it, then you got to find somebody that knows how this exotic weapon works, which is very hard to find because it's a rare item. So it would have to be very brave of you and very risky of you to be like take it to some tech and be like, hey, here's an item that's kind of one of a kind, you're not going to find it in most places, it's an exotic weapon, can you take it apart and like modify it for me? I mean, the tech might say yes, but the chances of them being successful are probably going to be low because it's something that they've never seen before. So you would need a really good tech and to get really lucky, in my opinion. Was kind of sad to see no upgrades for melee and armor, so I guess I gotta homebrew them. Yep, and you did exactly. Time to strap my katana to my shotgun. Shotgun katana is the best, dude. The first shot takes off a chunk of the blade. Your language, Donnie just repeated everything you said. Ah, shit. Sorry. I need to make sure that I don't cuss in front of my kid. He repeats everything now. A shotgun that shoots katanas or a katana that shoots shotguns. I mean, do whatever you got to do, man. Laser sight and scope for your katana, obviously. Speaking of modified exotic weapons, the tech can add a mod slot to the railgun, and rules as written, it takes the assault rifle's extended mag, so you can put 45 drum round on the railgun. Oof, that's nasty. Sort of a follow up to my previous. What was the best revenge you got on maybe someone who betrayed you or a jerk that has been harassing you the entire game? Well, I've only been a player like once or twice, so I can't really say. But as a game master, um, it's tough to say. I mean, there was in our Wise Guys campaign, there was a bad guy that the guys were after, Li Shen. He was the guy that hired the killers to kill one of the players' wife. So he's like he's the middleman. He was the fixer that got it going. So them capturing him, finally, after like 5, 6 sessions of them trying to hunt him down, they find him, they capture him, they interrogate him. One of the guys rips his arm off. Like that was satisfying to them to be able to take this guy, take control of him. So that was fun. Yep, there's wife saying, hoping everybody has a great day. What a nice person. Love you, babe. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Revenge is one of the key tropes in Cyberpunk, in my opinion. If you definitely got to have some kind of revenge story in there, some kind of unfinished business story. You know what I mean? Those are very important aspects of Cyberpunk. Keep it personal. That's right, Brutal. Keep it personal. Always keep it personal. It's more fun that way. I think that's something that other RPGs like D&D didn't really do very well. In D&D, it's more like you are a person in this world and your background is kind of inconsequential. I guess it's up to the game master, but they don't really encourage you to actually, it wasn't until fifth edition that they had like backgrounds where like you have a background of your character and how they came up and stuff like that. But even then, it was just delegated to a mechanic where like if you have a background in something, then okay, now you have a background in this thing. Okay, that gives you thieves tools, so you get an advantage for picking locks. That's just like a mechanical thing. But I want to know why you got those thieves tools. Why did you become a thief? Who did you work with? Who was your apprentice? Were you part of a thieves guild? Are you exiled from that thieves guild? Are you shamed? Were they all murdered? Are you hunted? These are all cool ideas to explore within the game. It would be cool if we knew the answers to that. Cyberpunk encourages you to have those kind of plot points with the life path. So that's what I really like about it. And you got to use it, man. Use that life path. When they get a gift for their significant other and they are left unprotected, have their corpo arch nemesis step in. Yeah, that's the other problem with having siblings and family members and people that you love in Cyberpunk is they become targets for your enemies. So in your games, would you allow stuff like my homebrewed melee and soon armor upgrades? Yeah, I mean, right now, rules as written, you can upgrade, you can create any item in the game using the text maker, fabricate, invention. You can make anything. So why not be able to add any kind of modifications and upgrades that you want? You would just have to tell me what you want to do, and then I would tell you what it would cost. That's it. There shouldn't be anything in between that. If you're playing, you should always play like that. I mean, it's up to you as a game master whether you want to have more things to think about. And if you're just like, you know what, I'm just going to stick to the book because I don't want to have to think about extra things. But for me, I like enabling my players and their cool ideas. So if there's something fun that you want to do, then all you got to do is ask me and we'll get it going. And we'll figure out a way how to do it. There has to be a way where you can, reasonably access what the materials you need to make everything. Remember what I said about human ingenuity. If it's not in the core rulebook, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. In the world of Cyberpunk Red, people are scavengers, people are surviving, people are geniuses when it comes to doing things. So whatever homebrew you can come up with, then maybe there's something that exists out there in the Cyberpunk Red world. I can see it. One of the funniest homebrew melee weapons is from Fallout, the shish kebab, which is like a machete and it has like a flamethrower on it. So, I mean, the idea of that weapon is so ridiculous, but the design of it looks like something that's feasible. It's like, yeah, I could see that. I could see being able to make something like this. Is it practical? Probably not, but the idea of it is interesting. It's like people in the post-apocalyptic world were trying to figure out a way to create a weapon that is more dangerous than what its original weapon was. So they made it the shish kebab, which is a flaming machete. Sorry for the random question, but what did you do with the U.S. Marshals? Like, what are they doing in your world? Are they even still around? Yeah, yeah, for sure. They're still around. There's also the U.S. government contracts out other groups like bounty hunters, and that's where you can get really cool, fun people like Dog the Bounty Hunter in Cyberpunk. I mean, he screams Cyberpunk. His character is a Cyberpunk character. But yeah, bounty hunters, U.S. Marshals, hunting down enemies of the state, enemies of corporations, for sure. You can give them the lawman role too. So when they're in certain parts of the country, they have jurisdiction. So, like, this is how I would do it. So, let's say you want to create a bounty hunting character, you would make them a lawman, all right? And then we would have to decide what faction do they work for, and not permanently, but just for their job. So let's say a corporate comes up to you and says, "Hey, how you doing? Arasaka wants to pay you to, or not, let's use a different corporation, Microtech. Microtech wants to pay you to hunt down this net runner that has stolen company secrets, and he's somewhere in Texas, okay? And you're in Night City right now. So they go, you can go, here is your Microtech Corporation assets and resources that we're giving you. Here's your pay up front, half now, half later when you're done. And when you get to Texas, meet with this contact. He's going to give you more verification codes. So if you need to call backup for corporate security, Microtech corporate security will come and answer your call. That's how you can make the lawman work as a U.S. Marshal or a bounty hunter working for a corporation. You could do the same thing for a government entity. So they go to a place, and the police know that they're there. You introduce yourself to the police and you say, "Hey, I'm here on assignment. I'm looking for somebody. We have reason to believe that they're here in this city. So there will be, I'm doing the investigation. So if there is any help that I need, I'm going to give you a call." And then you can try to role play whether they are helpful or not, and all that. That'll be a fun dynamic. Human ingenuity just reminds me of saying, if it exists, there's a porn of it. Never underestimate a human's mind. Yeah, Rule 34, man. Rule 34. Uh, Steven in his homebrewed Amber Oasis setting, he uses the Texas Rangers. So for the Marshals, I'd say use them how you please. Yeah, so the Texas Rangers are the law in Texas in my homebrew setting. So if anything needs to get done in the Free Republic of Texas as far as law enforcement, they're the guys. They'll do it. Most evil corp besides Arasaka. It's hard to argue that Arasaka is the most evil because they all are evil. I mean, they all have their own agendas. They all have no regard for human life. They'll throw people away by the masses for their own agenda. So maybe Arasaka is just the most demonized one, but I don't think Militech's any better. I don't think Biotechnica's any better. Microtech, they're none of these are any better than the other. They're all bad in their own way. They're all evil, and they're all good. Like, think about it, like corporations of the world today. The iPhone is a wonderful device. It has revolutionized humanity. It has given us information at our fingertips, and it has changed the way we communicate, and it has changed, it's a new era of life. And some could say that it is bad for humanity, but I think we can mostly all agree that cell phones and the iPhone and the way that it works and all that is an amazing part of society and has helped us for the better. What's the So Apple does good things. Apple does great things for us. Corporations do amazing things for humanity. They change us to a new era. They do beautiful things for humanity. But there's also a dark aspect, a dark cost to the things that we enjoy. And we're not all going to stop using iPhones, even though we know that there's forced child labor somewhere else creating these iPhones. Even though we know it, we knowingly move on with our lives and say, well, you know, it's the dark and it's the dark cost to living in the society that we live in. So the corporations in Cyberpunk are no different. They might do things that help humanity in such an amazing way, which they do actually, the ones that have survived in Cyberpunk Red. But the cost is astronomically bad. It's to the point where the slippery slope has slipped so bad. The government has given them so much leeway to do whatever they want. let them have their own private armies, have their own private governments and stuff like that, that they've lost it. I mean, they've gotten to a point where it's beyond control. And that's what makes them the most evil, is because uh, they have no limitations or very little limitations, and they run with it. It's like it's like what separates us from animals. If you go to a grocery store and you do your shopping, when you're done and you take a shopping cart and you load up your car, there is no rule and there is no consequence for you not putting the shopping cart in the shopping cart area for them to collect. There's no rule against that. There's nothing that says you need to do that. But it's what separates us from animals is the ones that put their shopping cart away don't need a rule, they don't need a law, they don't need a consequence to do that action. They just know it as doing it's the right thing to do. So, you know, it's the same thing with corporations. They don't have limitations, but they just make it the right thing to do.
Ya se está acabando el agua.
¿Se acabó?
Se acabó.
Okay, ahorita voy.
Falta uno todavía.
I'm gonna have to leave pretty soon, guys, but it's all good. Only good corp in Cyberpunk would be Trauma Team, but it's still a corp. Yeah, and they have a dark side too. Thanks to the corps, you can get replacement body parts for like half a month worth of salary. They're the good guys, exactly. Thanks for tips. The reason I even asked is because I love what you did with the Rangers. Awesome, man. I'm glad you like it. I'd say Trauma Team is a neutral corp. Yep. Not even lab grown replacements are only like 100 EVs. They're considered affordable. I'd love to see Cyberpunk World accelerated out 400 years. It'll be fucking Warhammer, dude. William Herman, how you doing? Good to see you. Unfortunately, I'm about to finish, so I'm sorry. Never seen the shopping cart place back where it needs to be. Yeah, it's always in your parking spot or another parking spot and stuff like that, and it's kind of messed up. Let's see here. Recommended source books. I'm a game master looking to get more ideas and background info. All right, this will be the last question I'm answering, guys, as I head out. I got to do some more errands for work. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry that I have to do my thing, man. Got to make that cheddar until the cyberpunk money takes over. Um, recommended source book Stephen S. As a game master, I would. Okay, let's see. I want to make sure that I get this right. So, the Chromebooks and there's 4 Chromebooks in Cyberpunk 2020, and then there's Morgan Blackhand or the Street Blackhand Street Guns or Streets something Street Blackhands. It's those 4 books, those 5 books, the Chromebooks and the Blackhands Guide to the Street or whatever it's called. Those 5 together will give you great ideas for what kind of items and conversions for items that you can do into Cyberpunk Red. It'll give you ideas for stuff that you can put in your game. I highly recommend those. If you want to wrap your mind around the Cyberpunk world and what it's like for the average person, what happened, how it became the way it was, number one, The Home of the Brave is the greatest source book. And whoa, $10 from Nihilus. Later, buddy. Love you, man. Thank you so much. Thanks for the continued support, dude. There's that. And then the next thing is Home of the Brave is one. And then the Night City source book. Very, very important if you want to create your own homebrew city. It's good to see what the Night City source book is all about. And then there is the various source books for specific roles like Live and Direct, Neo Tribes, the Rocker Boy one. I forgot what it's called. I think it's just called Rocker Boy. And Raish Bartmoss's Brainware Blowout. Those specific role source books are really, really good too. Other than that, I mean, there's a bunch of other source books like Eurosource. It's good for a European campaign. Rough Guide to the UK is good for a UK campaign. Oh my God, and I forgot the most important one. If you're going to buy any book, you should buy Listen Up, Primitive Screwheads. It is the Game Master's Guide for Cyberpunk, and it is probably one of the best Game Master books ever written for any source book or any RPG. So I would definitely pick that up as well. All right, guys. The massive PDF reference table that combines all the source book data is indispensable. Oh, I've never. Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that actually. So yeah, that's it. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for the continued support. Thanks for helping me get to 3K. I really appreciate it, guys. I am so grateful for the support from our community, and I have more stuff. This is just the beginning. Stay tuned for Wednesday. Tomorrow, I'll be interviewing John Kovalevsky, the CEO of Monster Fight Club. So stay tuned for that interview to come up on my podcast and on the channel. All right, guys. Have a wonderful day. I appreciate all of you. Have a wonderful week as well. I'll join you guys next week for another live chat and we'll talk more Cyberpunk. All right. Happy gaming, Chumbas. Have a good one. Bye.